Hello, truth seekers. Is Salome really going to get justice? Because it is very obvious that from the first day at court, from the charges being presented, it is obvious something sinister is brewing in the background. Before we proceed, I would like to welcome you to Truth Uncovered Africa, where we unravel dark truths and share stories that affect us. So if you're new here, please encourage us by hitting the subscription button and like this video. Alright, welcome. What we are about to review will shake a lot of people. But for those who truly want justice for Salome, we must remain objective. Now, let's have a recap. What happened to Salome? For those just joining us, let me take you aback. Earlier this year, a young corps member named Salome Adadu was brutally murdered and her body dismembered by Timileyin Ajayi in his home. According to reports, he was caught while trying to dispose of some of her body parts. Further investigations revealed that Salome's remains had been dismembered into the most horrific yet highly organized way. Ajayi was arrested, and after his confession at the police station, he was charged to court. Now, this is where everything starts to look suspicious. Ajayi was charged with just one count of culpable homicide. Just one. What I'm about to explain will help you understand why Timileyin has been acting the way he has, carefully choosing his words and holding on to certain facts. His confessions and body language are well calculated. But if you still have doubts, let me ask you these questions. Would a person who skillfully dismembered a full-grown human being into different parts that filled up 8 bags be a beginner in such act? Think about it. It takes precision to remove flesh from bone with such expertise. That kind of skill only comes from experience. For someone to carry out such an act, he must have also been prepared for a day like this, a day he would be caught. But that's just the foundation of what I'm about to reveal. Now, Ajayi was charged to court for what? Culpable homicide. There are 2 options of which Ajayi would have been charged. It's either he was charged for culpable homicide or first-degree murder. But guess what? They chose culpable homicide. Was that the best charge? As we proceed in this video, you will tell me if that was the best route to take. Now, let me break down these 2 charges in the simplest of form so that you viewers can understand it. I don't want to put in any ambiguous words. Let me explain it down. These 2 charges. The first one is culpable homicide. According to definition, it is the unlawful killing of a person without lawful justification. However, it does not always involve premeditation or intent to kill. It can involve recklessness, negligence, or partial intent. For example, 2 persons are fighting. A fight where one person unintentionally kills another person. It's called culpable homicide. Reckless driving. You know how someone can just recklessly drive and kill somebody. There was no intention to kill the person. It was just out of recklessness. That can fall under culpable homicide. And this charge has less severity. The punishment is lesser. Of course, there was no intent. Therefore, the punishment will be a little bit lesser than first-degree murder. Now, let's go to first-degree murder. Please listen attentively. The definition of first-degree murder is the intentional and premeditated killing of another person. Please take note, the intentional killing. There must be a clear planning and intent to kill. Example, a person that decided to assassinate another person. Before you kill somebody, before you assassinate someone, you have planned how to execute and assassinate the person. And also another example is poisoning someone. You went to the market, you bought the poison and poisoned the person. Now, first-degree murder comes with capital punishment. It results to either death by hanging or life imprisonment. But for culpable homicide, there are 2 ways it can go. 2 punishments. 1, if it is established that the accused killed intentionally, if there was intent to kill or it was premeditated, definitely capital punishment, death by hanging or life imprisonment. But if it is established that the accused killed out of rage, out of provocation, if it was spontaneous, that means he's going to have a reduced sentence. It might not be capital punishment, maybe 4, 5, 10 years, depending on the discretion of the judge. Now, having explained these 2 charges, guess what? Ajayi was charged with culpable homicide, not first-degree murder. a charge that allows room for technicalities. Now, I want to ask you this question. Do you think there was no intent to kill? Are they seriously claiming that someone who admitted to butchering a human being into pieces did not have any intent to kill? Killing for rituals, is it that not intent? Killing to sell body parts for an organ trafficking cartel, is that not intent? Yet, they chose culpable homicide, the one charge that could get him a lesser sentence if he can prove that the killing happened in the heat of the moment. Now I understand why Ajayi has been acting strangely. His behavior looks like a calculated move. At first, he says and he insisted that Salome was his girlfriend even when no one knew about their relationship. But he held on to that fact that they were dating. Then he gave different excuses for why he killed her. Finally, he settled on saying it was because she was cheating and refused to have sex with him. What is he trying to do? If I didn't know better, I would say he was trying to establish provocation, making it seem like the killing was not premeditated but an act of rage. This would reduce his sentence significantly if he can prove, or if his defense can prove, that he acted out of rage, he had cause to kill her. Even worse, his consistent statements might be an attempt to establish insanity. You see him moving, saying things that does not go in line with what he said before. Probably he's trying to make it look like he's insane. And despite all this, they charge him with culpable homicide, the one charge that leaves room for a reduced sentence. I guess that was the reason why he pled not guilty, because I know that most of us were confused when we heard he pledged not guilty. Even at the overwhelming evidence all over social media space from his even shocking confession, he pled not guilty. Is there something we don't know? I'm not a lawyer, so I could be wrong. But from what I see in this trial, something doesn't look right. Who benefits from this? This case is not just about Timileyin Ajayi. It's about a network of evil protecting their business. This is one way to show their foot soldiers that they have their back no matter what comes their way. If Timileyin gets a lesser sentence, it sends a message to other kidnappers out there. It also sends a message to a supposedly evil cartel out there that their bosses have their back no matter what. Everybody must follow this case. We must not allow this injustice to stand. A poor widow lost her daughter in the most horrific and barbaric way. If we allow technicalities to water down this case, we are endorsing impunity. I'm not surprised that some senior advocates of Nigeria and top lawyers are right around this case. If you watch closely, they went to the court themselves. It only proves that anything can happen in this trial. As a people, we must remain vigilant and demand justice. Our lives depend on it. The lives of our children, friends, and relatives depend on it. What do you think? We would love to hear your thoughts on this case. Maybe someone out there has insight that could shed light on this situation. Until then, stay safe. Stay curious. This is Truth Uncovered Africa.